The man everyone quietly feels sorry for in that office is the richest person in the building. His name is Owen. He drives a 2011 Camry with a dent in the back bumper he's never bothered to fix, parks it at the far end of the lot where nobody else wants to walk from, and carries the same soft-sided lunch bag every single day. When the office orders pizza on Fridays, somebody always slides a slice his way first, the way you offer food to a guy you figure can't quite afford his own. "I'm good," he says, every time, and everyone reads it as pride. Here's what none of them know. Owen could walk into his manager's office this afternoon, hand in 2 weeks' notice, and never cash another paycheck again. His house has been paid off for 3 years. His 401k, Roth IRA, brokerage account, and cash reserves quietly crossed $1.6 million last spring. Owen is not cheap. Owen is not broke. He is doing one thing on purpose, and it happens to look exactly like poverty from the outside. You know an Owen. You work with one? You might be married to one, or you used to be one, back before the money got comfortable enough to loosen up. A few desks down sits Marcus. Same age, same department, a slightly bigger salary on paper, newer truck, remodeled kitchen. The guy everyone assumes has it figured out. Today you're going to learn the one habit that built Owen's number, why almost every person gives that habit up the moment they can afford to, and why giving it up quietly costs them everything they were working for. To understand how this happened, we have to go back. This didn't start with $1.6 million. It started 11 years ago, when Owen was 40. 2. Sitting in that same parking lot earning $118,000 a year, with a mortgage, 2 kids in travel soccer, and a truck payment he was tired of making. So if you're 40, 45, 50, and quietly wondering whether you're already behind, stay right here. This is the decade where it actually gets decided. You'll see this habit show up in the raise, the car, the house, the way Owen spent money, the price he paid for looking behind, and the one Tuesday when the paycheck stopped being guaranteed. Here is Owen's habit with nothing hidden in it. He never let his life get more expensive just because his income did. That's the whole thing. Most people do the exact opposite without ever deciding to. The raise lands, and the car gets a little nicer, the bonus hits, and the kitchen gets remodeled, the promotion arrives, and suddenly the old furniture looks a little embarrassing. Owen watched Marcus do this for 11 straight years. And early on, Owen made a stranger decision. When the money went up, his life would hold perfectly still. The difference between what he earned and what he let himself spend would pile up somewhere quiet, out of reach, year after year. Not the salary, not a side hustle, not a lucky stock pick. The gap. That gap was the only thing that was ever going to make him free. The first place the habit showed up was the raise. 3 years in, both men landed the same promotion, same title, same $800 a month added to take-home pay. Marcus felt it immediately. A new truck lease, $740 a month, because he'd earned it. A better gym, a few subscriptions nobody quite remembers signing up for. None of it reckless. Every piece felt deserved. "We finally earned this," he told his wife that weekend, and he meant it. Was Marcus happier? For about 3 weeks. Then it was just his new normal, and the truck payment stayed long after the feeling left. The promotion he'd wanted for years bought him the same Sunday night dread, just at a slightly higher altitude. Owen took that same $800 and never let it touch his checking account. Part of it topped off his 401k up to the employer match, part of it filled his Roth IRA, and the rest moved automatically into a boring taxable brokerage account the same day it landed. At a long-term market average, $800 a month, left alone for 20 years, could grow toward $400,000. Left alone closer to 30, it drifts toward 7 figures. Not from luck, from a raise Owen already earned and simply chose not to feel. Then it showed up in the car. Marcus leases something new every 3 years. Right now, it's a blacked-out SUV, $810 a month, and he'll likely be making a payment like it until retirement, because there's always a next lease waiting. Owen bought that used Camry for $14,000 and has now driven it for 9 years. The gap between their 2-car budgets runs about $550 a month. Owen sends it straight into the same account as the raise before he can miss it. A new vehicle loses about a tenth of its value the second it leaves the lot, and close to half by year 5. Marcus isn't really buying transportation. He's renting a feeling. And the feeling wears off long before the payment does. Be honest for a second. Which one is parked in your driveway right now? The badge? Or the boring car quietly buying your freedom? It showed up hardest in the house. Marcus and his wife bought the bigger house in the better school district. Island kitchen. A 4th bedroom nobody uses yet. The mortgage eats 44% of his take. Home now, once you add the property tax, the insurance, and the things that break in a bigger house. Owen stayed in the 3-bedroom he bought at 39. The gutters could use cleaning. Nobody's impressed by the driveway. But the small payment is exactly what kept the rest of his money free to grow. From the street, Marcus's house looks like success. On the balance sheet, it's the same reason good, hard-working people hit 50 with a beautiful kitchen and nothing saved. Here's where people misread Owen completely, because this was never about being cheap. He'll drive that Camry into the ground and refuse to replace a phone that still works. That same month, he wrote a check for his daughter's braces without blinking, and flew standby to be in the room when his mother had surgery. Ruthless on what nobody sees. Generous on what actually lasts. Money spent to be seen is gone the second you're seen. Money spent on something real is still working for you 30 years later. But the habit had a cost of its own. Still, none of this was free. It just never cost Owen money. It cost him the way people looked at him. He's the guy who kept the old car while everyone else upgraded. A coworker jokes about the dent in the bumper. His own brother, in law, quietly assumes Owen must be struggling. And Owen doesn't correct him. Because there's nothing you can say that doesn't sound like bragging or lying. Marcus, meanwhile, gets to be the guy who made it. At the cookout. At the reunion. For about 3 weeks after every new thing. What did Owen actually lose by staying quiet? Nothing that compounds, just the applause. He made his peace with looking behind a long time ago. He ran the honest math on what being admired actually costs, and decided the silence was the cheaper buy. There was one more piece of it nobody could see. Underneath the Camry and the packed lunch, there's one thing about Owen almost nobody can copy, and it isn't discipline. Owen genuinely does not need the room to notice him. He doesn't need the truck, the kitchen, or the vacation photos to prove the year went well. He stopped keeping that scoreboard so long ago he mostly forgets it exists. And once you stop needing to perform, an enormous amount of spending simply vanishes on its own. Then came the Tuesday that mattered. Last spring, the company announced a restructuring. Same week, same floor. Marcus and Owen were both called into HR and handed the same folder. Same layoff, same severance. Marcus had some savings but not enough to breathe. A stack of payments kept coming whether his paycheck did or not. Within 3 weeks, he took the first offer that called, on someone else's terms, because the truck and the mortgage weren't interested in his timeline. Owen took 4 months, turned down 2 jobs that weren't right, took his kids to school on a Tuesday morning for the first time in years, accepted the job that was actually right, on his own schedule. What happens when the paycheck stops cooperating? For Marcus, everything moved. For Owen, almost nothing did. Similar salaries the whole way. Same town. 11 years of an invisible gap became the only thing that mattered on one ordinary Tuesday morning. Tomorrow morning, Owen is going to park that Camry at the far end of the lot again. He's going to eat the lunch he packed, say I'm good, to whoever offers him a slice, and let every one of them keep thinking he never quite made it. And he is going to be, by a distance none of them can imagine, the freest person in that building. Here's the only question that matters. When your paycheck goes up, does your life quietly go up with it? Or does it hold still while the gap underneath keeps growing? The world will keep telling you the upgrade is the reward. It isn't. The gap is the reward. Pick the gap, keep the habit, let them think whatever they want.